ask you an NIL question?
Yeah.
I think you're probably the athlete that is the most prominent on the campus in getting these. How has that been? How much time has it taken from the last, 2 months of your life? How many deals do you have? What do you think of all this?
Yeah. Well, for starters, I think it's an incredible opportunity, and I'm very thankful that I happen to be playing college football, happen to be in collegiate sports at this time. So awesome opportunity, and then to be here and try and take advantage of those opportunities. Really lucky. Second, I've been lucky enough to work with a couple companies, and it's been fun. It can be a bit time consuming, and navigating all of that can be tricky. But luckily, there are companies like Open Doors, and we have some wonderful people here who work with us and help us navigate, whether it be offers, deals, whatever it is. But yeah, outside of that, it's been something fun for now, but when season comes around, it's like you have to put your priorities in order, and making sure that myself and the rest of the guys have that situated is a critical piece right now.
Adrian, last week, Austin Allen characterized your situation at this part of your career that you're someone who has nothing to lose. So do you understand where he's coming from on that?
Definitely. I love that mindset. I think playing free and playing with a chip on your shoulder is sort of what that means to me. And I love it. And I love the fact that one of my teammates recognizes it. I think it's been a point of emphasis for myself, and just practicing like that, working out like that, and letting that carry over and hopefully engulf the team, that it can be our motto.
Why is it that mindset at this point? How did it evolve? How did it evolve to that?
Yeah, well, for me personally, it's been a heck of a journey, and everything that I've been through on the football field, off of it, has led me to this point right here, and I truly do believe I have nothing left to lose, and just to enjoy it and play at the very highest level I can, and doing everything I can to reach that level.
You had said in the spring that this is a prove-it season. Define what does that exactly mean? What is that to you? What do you need to see to know that you guys proved it?
For me, I think it's prove it to myself, prove it to my teammates that I can be every bit of the player that I aspired to be when I first got here. And it's playing at a higher level, playing more efficient, no turnovers. And those key areas for me, I think, are key areas for our unit and for our team as well. Gritty in the details, and honestly, we've left a lot out on the table. And I think this year we have an opportunity to kind of gain that back, and that's what prove it means to me.
Adrian, do you go into this season thinking that this is it?
No, I haven't made my mind up in regard to that at all. There's a lot still to be decided, so we'll see how it plays out. And again, another awesome thing for me is that I get another year because of COVID. So to have that opportunity is a blessing in itself.
How did the workouts with the receivers go? What did you stress in those workouts with those guys?
Details, and really getting on the same page. I think showing up and putting in the work is half the battle. So great turnout. Make sure you show up and are focused on, all right, my route, depth, the timing, and nailing all those things and solidifying that. And I feel like we definitely did that this offseason. There's obviously still work to be done.
Speaking of the details, you mentioned earlier in the spring making tweaks to your mechanics. Can you elaborate on what sort of tweaks you've made and how do you think that would help you?
Yeah, repetition, and I feel like I had a fairly accurate season last year throwing the ball, but continuing to improve on that decision making and making sure that accuracy carries over into longer passes.
I think back in 2018 there was a point where you said they need me to carry the ball 40 times. I'll do whatever it takes to win. You've seen what a physical toll a season takes 3 times now. Do you think about your role in the run game any differently at this point in your career, or about managing your body over the course of the season in that specific regard?
Yeah, I would say I look at it a little differently, but that mindset hasn't changed. If that's what it takes to win the game, if that's what it takes to beat Illinois week 1, let's do it. let's do it. But I know we have a pretty talented running back room, and I feel confident that we'll be able to evenly distribute the carries.
How much of your confidence stems from your physical condition right now? And how different is it than it has been?
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of all-encompassing in that the work that I've put in, and part of that has been getting leaner, slimming down a little bit to get faster, feel a little bit more confident, and that definitely plays a part. But there's also another side, and that's the people around me. I feel really good about the skill guys, our offensive line, where our coaches at are right now as a unit, really confident.
I don't think we asked you this in the spring, but was there a moment where you were, am I going to come back to Nebraska, or am I going to explore something else? Did that happen in the winter or January, or was there never any question?
There wasn't a question, but I did have a lot to think over after that season. It was full of ups and downs, obviously, being demoted, coming back, lost more games than we won. So there was a lot to mull over. But once I had been done considering all those different options, I think that's what any person does in business, is weigh the options. I was very happy to have that opportunity to come back.
Then there was also obviously a moment where you're like, I have to change some things about what I do. And that was, you decided to drop weight, which I don't know if that was very hard for you, but you decided to do that. You made some other changes. You got pretty involved as a leader, the podcast, other things. When did you make that decision? I've got to change something for year 4. Year 3 wasn't good enough.
Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on the head. It wasn't good enough, and I needed to make some changes. And that started as soon as I stepped back on campus and putting all my effort towards those changes and towards trying to be a better leader, better player, to elevate our team as a whole.
What do you expect from Juergens this year?
Expect it all. I think he's a stud. He's been working really hard, and I think we're prepared to see him take a leap as a player. He's done a lot of things this offseason that I have really appreciated, and that stems from stepping more into that leadership role, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Do you own some of his beef jerky here?
Naturally. Yeah, I was one of the first, and he didn't give it to me for free, so, I think free advertising something, but I make sure to give him a hard time.
Adrian, it seems like your teammates, from the comments in Indianapolis, that they're putting an awful lot into this opener against Illinois, which may be natural since it's a division opponent. I guess, how do you view that as far as how that sets up your guys' season?
Well, I think it's a huge game, and it's the most important game of the season because it's our first game. And also it's a Big Ten opponent, Big Ten West opponent, and guys are excited. We're finally back playing sort of a regular-looking season, and we put a lot of emphasis on it. And I think it will be big for us in creating momentum and also setting a standard for how we want to play the rest of the season.
Is that, having a West Division opponent right out of the gate, as you guys go into fall camp, does that kind of create a different vibe than, say, if you're playing, let's say, a non-conference opponent against maybe someone that, a name that isn't all familiar?
Yeah. I pick up what you're putting down. I don't know. I don't know because we haven't been there yet. But, well, I guess sort of last year. But I think the intensity and the standard that we're striving for right now would be like that regardless of who the opponent was.
To the point about your role in the run game, how do you balance staying with this new way that you clearly had designated was a necessary change, and also keeping the body bulked up and prepared for whatever punishment may be coming?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a fine line, and luckily we have great nutritionists and a strength staff who understands what weight I can play at, a healthy weight, and I feel like I'm there. So it's a matter of maintaining that, taking care of my body, and making sure I'm taking measures post-practice, post-game to stay as healthy as possible throughout the year.
Who's a receiver you're excited to see realize their potential?
There's a lot of guys. I would say Xavier Betts. I think he's getting a hold of that, and he has this summer. He's put in a ton of work, and I think with a lot of the guys in that room, there's just another level to be unlocked, and we're in the process of doing that.
Xavier, when he runs, it looks effortless, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
fun to see. What have you talked to him about in terms of how he can get on the same page with you so that there's trust and chemistry and all those things?
Yeah, well, we've had a decent amount of personal conversations about what he means to this team, and what he can do for the unit and the team as a whole. I mean, I think he's a difference maker, and not only him, there are other guys in that room as well. But I think letting guys know how much they mean to not only me as a quarterback, but to this group, and that it's bigger than just the individual, goes a long way.
Got time for two more? You've had a bunch of those skill guys, receivers and running backs that maybe have been on campus for a few months or a year, but you haven't played all that much with them in a game setting. So how's that process been? Does it feel like a new group? Does it feel like a group you're really familiar with?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because it doesn't feel really like a new group to me. I think we've done a great job of forming chemistry off the field that's really helped the on-field transition come along a lot faster. We've also gotten a lot of work kind of on our own time, and I think that has definitely added to that fact.